Some rulers serve their people admirably and are beloved, well-respected heads of state. Others lead through cruelty, fear, ambition, or just sheer ruthlessness, and these brutal monarchs have left legacies that haunt history to this day. We are Fortified History, and today we'll be covering 10 figures whose reigns were marked by oppression, bloodshed, and terror. Our first stop is ancient Rome with Emperor Nero, a figure who symbolises tyranny and excess. Nero came to power at age 17 and quickly became infamous for his extravagance and brutality. He's often accused of starting the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD, although there is debate about that. However, what is certain is that he used the fire as an excuse to persecute Christians, executing many in brutal ways. He also had members of his own family murdered, including his mother Agrippina, who had helped him rise to power. His rule ultimately ended with a rebellion and his suicide, leaving behind a legacy of violence and cruelty. Nero wasn't Rome's only brutal ruler. His predecessor, Emperor Caligula, also left an appalling mark on history. Known for his unpredictable and often sadistic behaviour, Caligula declared himself a living god and demanded absolute loyalty. He reportedly tortured and executed people for amusement, ordered executions at the slightest provocation, and even made his horse a priest and tried to make it a consul. His cruelty extended to the Senate and the public alike, creating a climate of fear. His rule was thankfully cut short when he was assassinated after only 4 years in power. Moving into Eastern Europe, we find Vlad III of Wallachia. Often called Vlad the Impaler, Vlad was notorious for his brutal methods of punishment, especially impalement, which he used to instill fear in his enemies and his own people alike. His cruelty and fondness for torture have made him a popular figure in folklore, even inspiring the legend of Dracula. While some see him as a national hero for his defence against the Ottoman Empire, his reign was characterised by brutal suppression, including the massacres of entire villages. Moving on, Genghis Khan, the founder of the Mongol Empire, was a visionary but merciless ruler. His campaigns resulted in the deaths of millions, with entire cities wiped out and populations massacred. Historians estimate his conquest may have reduced the global population by as much as 11% due to the sheer scale of slaughter and destruction. His legacy of ruthlessness is matched only by the size and power of the empire that he built. Now, Ivan IV, known as Ivan the Terrible, was Russia's first Tsar and a deeply paranoid ruler. Early in his reign, he achieved a significant territorial expansion and established the groundwork for modern Russia. However, he is also known for his violent outbursts and unpredictable rage. Ivan created a secret police force that brutally suppressed dissent, and his reign turned increasingly brutal after the death of his beloved wife Anastasia. He executed thousands of his own citizens, even murdering his own son in a fit of rage, leading to the destabilization of Russia in the years that followed. In China, Emperor Yongle of the Ming dynasty is remembered both for his achievements and his cruelty. He ordered mass purges, including the execution of scholars and critics. He relished cruel punishments, sentencing entire families to extreme torture and sadistic deaths. Though he expanded China's power, his sadistic practices made him deeply feared. Moving to England, we have Mary I, also known as Bloody Mary. Mary ascended to the throne as a Catholic in a predominantly Protestant country and sought to restore Catholicism by force. Her reign is marked by the Marian prosecutions, during which nearly 300 Protestants were burned at the stake. This brutal suppression earned her the nickname Bloody Mary, and though her reign was relatively short, it left a lasting impression on English history, shaping the country's attitude towards religious tolerance. Queen Ranavalona I, sometimes known as the Mad Queen of Madagascar, pursued policies of extreme isolation and executed brutal punishments on dissenters. She killed or exiled thousands who opposed her, using methods like forced labour and exposure. Estimates suggest her rule may have led to the deaths of over half of her population. Her isolationist policies also weakened Madagascar economically and diplomatically. One of the most shocking cases in colonial brutality is found in the actions of King Leopold II of Belgium. Leopold claimed the Congo Free State in Africa as his personal property and ruled it with extreme cruelty, exploiting it for rubber and ivory. The local population was enslaved, mutilated and tortured to meet rubber quotas. This brutal exploitation led to the deaths of an estimated 10 million Congolese. Leopold's regime eventually became so infamous that he was forced to turn over control of the Congo to the Belgian government, but the impact of his rule left a lasting scar. Emperor Hirohito of Japan was the nominal head of state during World War II and oversaw one of the most aggressive military expansions in Japanese history. Under his reign, Japan invaded China, Southeast Asia and the Pacific, committing horrific war crimes, particularly in places like Nanjing, where an estimated 300,000 civilians were killed. The use of chemical weapons and forced labour camps left a lasting legacy of suffering. Hirohito's role in these atrocities is debated and complex, but his leadership during these events have made him a controversial figure in history. And there you have it. These monarchs, from ancient Rome to modern Japan, each ruled with a level of cruelty that left a dark legacy. Their methods of control, whether through terror, violence or oppression, highlight the dangers of unchecked power. Today these rulers serve as reminders of what can happen when leaders lose sight of humanity in the pursuit of power. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this look at history's brutal leaders, check out our other videos, and please note that new content is released on Sundays.